Today we continue this experiment with Clark's samples. I cheated a little bit and went ahead and did some preparation today. Into that. 11. Trying to tune this hi-hat because there's clearly Hello, Nick. Good to see you again. Yeah, so I was working on this track this morning, and as I'm working on this, one of the things that I kind of get annoyed by is I really like long bass lines, and I don't like to go past 4 bars on the Octatrack because it starts to get a bit hairy. It's hard to keep track of what's going on, and you don't want to have to wait, 6 bars to get to the next pattern. So I tend to keep things within 4 bars, and in this case, if I do want the chord to change, I'm kind of just choosing to make it a second pattern. So maybe not so much chord as just the bass root note. Might be easier to hear if you have headphones on or something. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to find room in these different patterns. Just to give it some more variation. And just so that you guys know, we are working with, what are we working with? We have roughly 7 tracks here today. 2 tracks aren't doing anything at the moment. Track 3 is my main sample from my set of Clark samples that I found recently. I have a link to it in my Patreon. It's not mine. I'm not selling it or anything, but you can find it there. And track 4 is my sort of skippy. Damn, 4 monitors. That's awesome. Thanks for always checking out the streams. So I was listening to some Burial this past week, and I think that gave me some context to be imagining this breakbeat type, which I don't usually play with. But yeah, hearing Burial mess with this kind of stuff gave me a lot more ideas. So all I'm doing right now is I want to give it a bit of a breather on the beginning of this so that it's silent and then it comes back in. I do want that first hi-hat though, so we're going to put that here. And we're going to do that same trick here, just to give it, I feel like sometimes this breakbeat gets a bit much, so I'm going to copy this page to this one. And then when we get into pattern 5, which I chose a different section of the same sample to play from, I think it just comes in a little hot. So let's give it some attack. Yeah, so another thing that I was testing out this morning was fills. And fills are kind of weird. Basically, what you can do is you can take, and do I want to just make a new set for this? Sure, why not? Just for the demonstration of it. I'm going to copy this pattern to pattern 16. Okay, so let's just start with a kick and see what I'm talking about. So I have these kicks, and they're all going to play at all times. But then I can sort of create this fill kick, and that's a conditional trig. That means whenever kick is activated, whenever fill is activated, these ones will work. I can also set one to be not fill. So I can say fill with a little line above it. And that basically means that this will only play when fill condition is satisfied. So to create the fill condition, there's two ways, and I believe you can hold down, up, and page, and you'll get the fill. And we're actually gonna change the slice being used here, so you can hear exactly what the difference is between these two. You hear those extra ones? So in this case, the fill condition is satisfied as long as I have these two buttons held. And that means all trigs that have been set to fill are playing, and all trigs that have been set, anti-fill are only going to play when fill is not satisfied. But this is kind of like a annoying thing to have to hold down. So there's another option you can do, which is you press down in page, and that means that on the next go round on this particular sequence, it will play the fill. And you can tell because this thing becomes like all four lit up. And you'll also notice that if I do it at the beginning, you'll see it flashing, which is basically telling you that on the next sequence, it's going to play it like a fill. Right? So, I mean, understanding that, it's a little bit weird to use in practice, because actually what ends up happening is if I'm using my pattern settings with scale mode per track, so like I have my master sequence at 64 steps and my individual tracks have different step values. That's when things start to get a bit complicated, because if I activate fill on this particular sequence, on this track, because it's a 1 bar track, the fill condition is only going to be activated for 1 bar. So in this case, Yeah, so one thing that I'm noticing that's kind of weird is if I'm on a single bar track like this, and let's see what this is actually. So let's set this to fill, see what happens. And the reason that I'm testing this out is because I had some fill additions here. Like, for example, I told this track to play every 2 bars only. So I gave the length a 32 step, which means that once it plays this 2 bar thing, it's going to stop. And so that was kind of how I got around creating a fill for it. So I basically have it set up so that this is only activated during fill. When I turn on fill, then this trig stops activating, and at that same time, the hold length runs out. So basically, it's equivalent to saying that you mute this track when you activate fill. So, like, we can take this out, one by one and explore that. So here we are, 2 bar, activate the fill. So the one trig that is only activated during the fill condition, during the non-fill condition, sorry, is now silent. So now you have that muted segment. Meanwhile, I have this hi-hat in which the same thing's happening. It's basically just 2 bars of non-fill only hi-hats. So when I activate fill, I'm turning them off. And the reason I wanted to do that was because I wanted to use the fill to introduce this loop. Sorry, not this loop, this loop. So right now this trig is set to only fill. So basically once these 2 mute, this one will start. And by the way, if this is a 2 bar loop and you turn on fill, it'll wait until the entire sequence is done, not at the end of like a 16, not like a single page or something like that. It waits until the whole thing. But what's kind of confusing me about it is that with different page sizes, some of them start before others. Like this one is a 1 bar. So you'll hear it start if I activate fill on this first page, you'll hear it play during the second page. So they're not synchronized. They're actually playing based on the length of their respective patterns. And it's kind of a weird choice, but it's also kind of interesting because it really creates a lot of rhythmic variation that I hadn't really thought about. It's probably one of those things that was just left in, like design-wise. I don't really understand why that would be a thing, but something interesting to play with, I think, just to see how things like bounce off of each other in unexpected ways. So here's that fill with this this breakbeat highlighted. Right? So in this case, if I wanted this, for example, to synchronize, I'd want to give it 2 pages, just so that we'll get that same effect. And it'll be synchronized to, so basically we're doing 2 pages of the same note, and it will be set to fill only. Cool. Now when we do this, right? Now let's activate the kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. And then you layer on the main sample here. Not as big a fan of it here, so I'm going to take that out. Okay, so before I get lost in the sauce here, let's go over what we've done. Just trying to balance the levels here against what I'm hearing through the analog heat, because I do feel there's a tiny little bit too much going on. I'm almost tempted to lower the pitch even more on this breakbeat here. Cool. Maybe sculpt some more out of this. A little too much going on in the kick as well. Let's prune one of these kick. Let's make this only happen every first time. Maybe I do this. And we're going to copy this, knowing that this rhythm we want to keep for the second bass line here. We're going to copy and paste it over here. And I think also one thing that I really like about this is just like, it's a really comfortable place to stay. So I think I'm going to duplicate these two to 4 and 5. And in order to do that, I need to move 4, 5, 6, and 7 all the way over, like 2 steps each. So let's do that and be careful doing it. So we're going to copy everything over 2 times over. So 7 goes to 9, 6 goes to 8, like that. That should leave me with 5 and 6 empty. Cool. Hopefully everything went all right. Nope, it didn't, because there's nothing in 8. So 7 goes to 9, 6 goes to 8, 5 goes to 7, 4 goes to 6, 3 goes to 5. Cool, so 4 and 6 are identical, which is kind of what I was looking for anyway. And then 2 and 3 are going to become 4 and 5. Yeah, so basically I'm looking for a version of it that's a little bit less high-end focused. Oh, that was so much better when I switched warp time stretch to beat instead of normal, whatever. It's just like the hi-hats came out so much more. Yeah, so I'm also thinking I'm gonna say this is only gonna start on the not first time. And then I'm going to say that this is going to start on not first. Oh, I see. I'm on the wrong track. Here we go. Not first. Cool. Yeah, so this being the intro. You can even do that whole thing where you, well, I wouldn't recommend it in this case because I actually want these to be, I think, longer than 4 bars. Well, actually, that's not true. Yes, it is. I want it to be 8 bars each. Yeah, so let's make this not first as well. So now what we're creating here is, hey Rustic, is a section where you just start out with none of these happening, and then as, you know, this one's a 1 bar loop, so it's going to come in first. Then this one being a 2 bar loop is going to come in the second time because it's set to not first. So after 2 bars, then we start hearing this one come in. So they're slowly kind of building on each other again. And where we're coming from, it's like a more heightened area. So. And actually, I need to turn this to start silent. Yes. Can I do a video to show how I do different banks in the same project someday to compare what you're? Sure. Quick overview. I'm using banks as songs. So, if I was on bank 1, then I have 5 patterns. Bank 2 has 5 patterns. Bank 3 has 6. Bank 4 has 9. And then within each bank, I'm just kind of trying to make one track. Yeah, so I think I want this to be 2 bars, just so that I get that full silent. And in fact, let's set this to quarter, give us 1 page, and copy this right here. I think something's wrong. Oh, it's because swing is on, and swing gets so weird if it's universally applied, which I sometimes do. If the meter is off, then it's going to swing whatever scale you have here, so be careful about that. Try to do swing per track and adjust accordingly. Let's hear how this sounds. That's pretty nice, actually. Yeah, so in these two sections here, actually I think it's just one. What kind of stuff did you get, Nick? Yeah, so I have 6, 7, and 8, which I don't have anything going on right now. So 2 and 3 together, 4 and 5 together. Now we have this kind of, which I'm perfectly happy just leaving that way because I like the way that sounds. And then maybe, let's see what this track is. Yeah, so let's make this another 4-bar in a single page. And what is this note that I'm about to play? And then again, remembering to turn off swing here. Ooh, Rainmaker, I've heard that's good. Too melodic. In what, G? So we're gonna pitch this. Hello, Alec Thackeray. So, pretty into that. And I'm actually more interested in making the bass line more interesting, so let's give it 4. I'm gonna give it bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so that's right where it needs to be. Noticing some intense compression going on. I'm going to try to fix that a little bit. I might actually try this with volume. Let's see. that's probably too disruptive. And another thing that I like about it is that when I get to pattern 8, it trails, this sample is not being triggered in pattern 8 at all. So whatever was playing before, since it's not set to turn off when this pattern starts, it actually just kind of plays out in a really nice way. Pattern 8. So then what if I take this, copy and move it later? Copy 7 with its cool bass line to 9. And then this time, we're going to tell this to play, where is it? Here? Yeah. Tell the pattern settings to start silent. This was the wrong track. This is the right one. Why is this so loud? Jeez. I have it set to -33 and it's still cutting through the mix. I think it's also because this kick really squeezes because it's a sub. Trouble in Compression Paradise. Okay, so that is suspect. I know what's happening. I have this trig set to -49, but then when I do these one shots or whatever, these non-trigless trigs, I have them locked to their to 0. But all I have to do is tell this to be -64 and this to be neutral, and it will take on whatever properties I have set up. I was wondering why I felt like it was crescendoing. Perfect. And same thing over here, just need to turn this off. In fact, I should probably take this out because it's not even really doing all that much. So here we are in the next section right now. Wow, I've made it pretty far with just a single part, actually. So let's just kind of go through this and see if it feels like there's a structure. So certain things need to stop playing. Let's just copy this. So we are going to try 4 on the floor. Ooh, that was cool, actually. Hold on. That was totally a mistake. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Of course. Second time. And this one's gonna be quieter. Yeah, the only thing is, you know, if we start here, here's where things start to get kind of wacky. Take out the bass. Go to the clip. That's fun. So we were originally going to cut this out, but then I accidentally pressed some things, and now this rhythm is slightly off, but I like it, so I'm going to keep it going and see what it sounds like. And I just keep pushing that one back because it's a lot. I'm tempted to also move to my next part here, so let's do it. And that's actually pretty good. And it's so funny because it's not even really that different. It's the same exact sample. I just reloaded it and put it in the one spot instead of the spot. And actually, you know, if we're going to be efficient, I am not using 9. 9 was kind of like my first idea for the drop, quote unquote drop. But I feel like it's a little too much like everything else, so we're gonna play it through. Here's that skipped section. Take out the kick. And use this scene, which is adding reverb. Cool. I'm pretty into that. Oh, and actually, yeah, I think this is actually the one I wanted. So 9 and 10 are... Oh shit. No. Okay, so I changed this dry wet on these two on the wrong part. So I'm gonna fix them. So this was 33. Just kind of eyeball it, 69. And then on bit part 2, we're gonna have it be. And then we're gonna take this and copy it onto 9 because I want it to be just linear, and then we're gonna clear these two. So now these are the ones that I want, and then here's that random. into it. So what comes next? I was kind of thinking about doing a different beat here, since we're on part 2 now. Were we on part 2 here? Yes, we were. Shit. I think what I'm going to do is some pattern trickery. We're going to take this track, and we know that we have, we're going to take this pattern, and we know that this is set to loop auto. So, hopefully, it'll just keep looping if I keep the next pattern clear of trigs. And as long as I have track 4 set to start silent, no. Maybe if I have a loop set to on, and here on. There we go. And then at this point, when I go to pattern 10, I can choose a different pattern, and that's where you have some overlap. You know, one of them is, you know, we're still playing the sample from part 1 in this track, but we're already on part 2. In part 2 here, we're actually going to trigger the new sample. So that's kind of one of the weird things that you can work around with the Octatrack, kind of get multiple layers playing with each other a little bit. Tape tinge breaks. Let's see. 134. Have some things in that range. No, thank you. I kind of just want to hear what that sounds like. Yeah, going back to the comfort zone. Yeah, I thought I had exited that. Let's get back to my White label, old school, rave beats. Actually, let's go to 145 because I like being able to pitch them down. Because I wanted to take this. I always do, which is turn into a breakbeat. Kind of like, woo territory. That was abrupt. Do I try to bridge the gap with something this weird? What is the bass doing right now? It's this kind of 3-note. But but I have it so low that it's almost more appealing. And it's got that kind of LFO VCF, what is it, voltage controlled frequency, just a frequency based LFO on the filter. Yeah, I feel pretty good about the effect chain that I have here. It's not super interactive in the sense that I haven't explored it all that much, but compressor plus heat is just such a great thing to be able to do without touching a DAW. It's very, very nice. And I've been having a lot of fun just letting these samples breathe a little bit. I mean, they're so rich and complicated that I kind of just want to hear what they're doing. And so last week I was working with the OB6, and I was just finding that most of the time there was just too many notes and too much going on. So I've switched back to the Minotaur today, and we'll probably keep doing that for the next few days. It's just so that I can stay out of the way and just give like a few notes here and there to give context, but then just kind of step back and see kind of how the rhythm fills the space. I could also throw a tiny bit of reverb to give it some space. And I think, you know, there's definitely a part of me that thinks some of this is more interesting to me because I've made it. But I think over time, it'll just kind of become a skill of figuring out what's actually interesting. Like, because I'm introducing a new idea here, but I think there's something just a little bit dry about the whole experience. Move into 8, which is kind of that transition section. Might be 4 on the floor, might not be the right move. We'll workshop it. Yeah, so what if I was to take this and then transition straight over 9 into 10? Yada yada yada. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that for there now. Starting to lose interest a little bit, but we have a number of things that I've been playing with over the last few days, and they all kind of occupy the same bizarre sound space where a lot of them are based on these Clark samples, and they have some interesting ideas in there. So, and I've also named them the same way that I did with the mixtape, which, by the way, is almost close to being presented. I think I'll be able to share a link on my Patreon for the entire mixtape start to finish. I'm still going to do some changes to it, but I'm going to be putting out a small version of it for people to check out. And I think I'm going to double this with bass, but do something fun with it. Give me a sec. I mean, I am a fan of that sound, as you can tell, because I did it in the last one. I want something different though. Yeah. Something a little bit more groovy like that. Dum dum bum 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 bum. Yeah, so that you'll notice that D is early, so is it too cute to add something at the end there? B F B. I'll keep it for now. I kind of like it. Bum bum bum. Yeah, I'm just kind of creating, go up an octave there. And I might scrap that in a few days. And you'll notice that I used the same sample in the next section. So I'm tempted to redo this in with a different sample. I will definitely check out this this link. If you want to send the link in the comments, I'll check it out later. Thank you. And then I have this other kind of disco-y thing that I started working on, and I had something there for a second. Hold on. So I like that enough that I'm gonna record that. Do I want to record it? It's just like so much. Send into Ableton. Well, I have it as a YouTube video, and I'm just gonna make a mental note to play those exact notes. I have it recorded in the keyboard in the video, so maybe I'll just play it later. Because I really like the way that that sounded, and I would like to record that into Ableton, use it for something else, or maybe even just import it back in here and play it as a static machine, because it's rad. Oh, I need to set this to, well, we could speed it up a little bit, right? Yeah, okay, fine. I'll record it. I'll record 2 different sections because I think that's kind of how I'm hearing it. Yes. I think it already recorded that much. Let's go to a new part where I can look at that and see. Flex machine. Chord buffer 1. Turn off the internal reverb. I kind of don't like that pop. I think I'm going to get it right before that pop. Actually, maybe without reverb. Just kind of figuring out the logistics of what rhythm to play, but I think that's the one. full EQ. Turn it up. Good. Okay, let's save that. And then cool. And then here we have yeah, okay. Sweet. So that's the part I want. I'm noticing that track 3 isn't being used. That's where the thing will go. This is the weird thing about, I don't understand why, but the rate is set to maximum. Oh, it's because retrig is on, so it's like playing later. Never mind. interesting. Now I get into part 2. I'm gonna move this to this most recent one, which will give us a different chord progression. Actually, we're gonna flip these. Trying to turn this one off every time after the first so that we get that pickup. Dun, dun. based on part that I said I wanted. I don't know. Cool. Yay! Got that together. And I'm still pretty proud of this section here, 134. Just like the weirdness of it all. And I think I want all of those pieces. I just need to figure out how to piece them together. And once again, that kind of goes back to listening to some weird stuff. Like I was talking to my friend about Aphex Twin and Clark, and he was talking about how, you know, he looks to Aphex Twin for a lot of structural ideas, and we were talking about this idea that his stuff is so complicated, but he tries to trick you into thinking that it's not. Whereas most, you know, a lot of songs are like really simple and they're trying to convince you that they're complicated. But a lot of like IDM stuff is like working backwards, I feel. The thing about this kind of pattern, though, is that it is, you know, once you figure out what's going on, it's not super complicated. It's really just a bunch of loops playing. Sorry, there's a tiny delay, so I'm not 100% sure what you're talking about, Nick. I'm almost tempted to just be like... Kind of into that too. Kind of trading off. Here's one, and on the next one plays the next one. Cool. So I've been sufficiently hypnotized by this. And I think I'm just going to leave it there today. Had some fun making this entire bank of patterns. And hope you enjoyed listening to it as well. What else? Yes, one more thing. I have this mixtape is close to presentation level, and I will still be making some edits to it, but I have the track list. I've played it for my friends. They like it. So if you want to check it out, check out my Patreon. I'll link it in the comments, the description. And thanks again for checking out these videos. Have a great day. See you on Wednesday. Nope, today's Wednesday. See you on Friday.